Assalamu alaikum, dear students. This is the second chapter related to your organization design, and this chapter actually deals with identifying different type of organization design and what are the different format different companies follow in order to develop their organization structure and the culture. So for first of all, what is organization design? Organization design is actually developing an appropriate organizational structure in order to make the organization organize, or you can say that make the organization arrange in such a way that we can achieve the ultimate goal of the organization. Secondly, the structure is there. You can go for departmentalization, proper appropriate basis for departmentalization. Then secondly, you have to identify the what type of span of management you can go through, you can follow, or authority, or the decisions regarding authority, centralization, decentralization, coordination different between the different departments, and the line and staff relationship. Additionally, this is actually related to the organization structure, but organization structure can only be successful with the help of an appropriate organization culture. So organization design is related to development of an organization structure and developing of an organization culture in order to fulfill the ultimate goal of the organization. And we are following different kinds of when we talk about the business arena, there are different kinds of organization design followed by different organization, and there are different bases and different factors which can determine that what appropriate organization design should, and what kind of organization design would be successful in different kind of situation. And we'll discuss this thing one by one in this chapter. The nature of organization design. In this slide, we will discuss what is organization design and what are different perspective which are being practiced world over. So now, first of all, what is organization design? Organization design is an overall set of structural elements and relationship among manage the total organization. As you are the manager, you are the upper level manager, and you have to develop overall organization structure. First of all, you have to design the overall organization structure, that what is your how you can departmentalize your organization, and what should be your job design, and what are your span of management, your coordination, your differentiation, line and staff. But the bureaucratic model, and the second one is behavioral model. If you remember, in the second chapter, in which we were discussing the classical approach and different historical evaluation of management, in that chapter we have discussed different type of theories which were practiced during different periods regarding the management. So when we talk the bureaucratic model, so the bureaucratic model is the you can say outcome of Max Weber's bureaucratic school of thought, in which he emphasizes development of a more organized kind of a culture, or you can say that a kind of culture in which there are strict obedience of rules and laws, authorities, structures, and position regarding position, and the promotions regarding when you promote any kind of any individual or in any employee, so it would be done according to rules and regulation and according to their technical expertise, and all those things which we have discussed in the Max Weber theory of bureaucratic theory of management. On the other hand, the behavioral model is the model in which the more of a human perspective is involved. The humanistic approach, or you can say the approach in which humans are regarded as the human beings, not just machines which have to work all the day, or which are working, and not you are not giving them any incentive, you are not giving them any rest break, or you are not giving them any other kind of treatment which will encourage them. So in this behavior school of thought, we are actually developing an organization's culture. These are the two main extremes of model which are practiced world over. So why there are different type of organizations, you can say organization structure, as when we are coming into the arena of business. So what the emphasis of each and every organization which is working in the business field, or in so far we are talking about mostly the business concern. So their main emphasis is to fulfill needs and wants of your customer, and they are providing deliverables, they are products or services to the customer within the market. And the main emphasis of every business is to satisfy their customer. So depending upon what the company product is or service is, the management who are developing the organization structure or designing the culture of the organization, they develop the organization culture according to the needs and wants of their customer. So that's why when you have different product, so you will design your organization differently as compared to different if you are working with a service business, or we are working in a service business. So depending upon the deliverable you are entertaining the market, or deliverable you are providing to the market, you have to develop the organization's culture according to culture and organization structure according to that. So the main the different of the main reason that there are different kind of organization structure is that every organization is providing different kind of product or different kind of services to the people. That's why they have to develop different kind of organization structures. As we have discussed that we have two main kind of organization design or model for development of an organization design. First is bureaucracy, which is based on a legitimate and formal system of authority. And what is this? As we have different characteristic of this kind of model. First of all, the organization should adopt a distinct division of labor. And what is division of labor? We have discussed that division of labor is dividing the total larger task into two smaller pieces, and based upon that you have to develop your job analysis, your job design, and after that specialization and all those and everything. Now the organization, in this case when we are following bureaucracy, so you have to you have to develop a very distinct kind of division of labor. Secondly, rules and regulations are very consistent and very well designed. We have to develop SOPs and rules and regulation for each and every activity which you are doing. Thirdly, about hierarchy. You have to establish a very well cleared, well identified and neatly designed hierarchy of position, whether it is upper level, lower level, and if there are very different layers of hierarchy you are developing, so you have to establish a very clear hierarchy of position. And the fourth thing is the impersonality to of your positions, that managers should conduct a business impersonally to maintain social distance, because when you involve your personal interest and personal likes and dislikes into that, so you cannot get your thing done in a very you can say effective manner. So when the manager is doing business and is working in the business, so you should not involve his personal likes and dislike in your business environment or your work environment. Lastly, that employment and promotion should be based on technical expertise, and employee should be protected from arbitrary dismissal. This is very important for your employee loyalty, It's also very important for their development. And not only that, it's very important for the outcome which you are getting from the organization. If you are not hiring people based on their technical expertise, what you are doing is you are dumping organization with very useless people. So it's very important that if you are hiring a person, or if you're getting giving promotion to certain people, so that could be done on a very technical basis, based upon their technical expertise. And another thing, that is that protection from arbitrary dismissal, because the previous thing, your manager should conduct their business impersonally to maintain social distance. This might be a might be very this might be play a very important part while while maintaining this kind of culture, because when you have personal likes and dislikes, in this case you can go and hire someone or dismiss some person based upon your personal likes and dislikes. So if this is the case and the arbitrary dismissal are protected, so this will increase the employees retention, and you have no employees who have can say grudges in their hearts for the organization, and different negative sentiment of the for the organization. So it's very important that you should have a have protection from arbitrary dismissal for your employees while you are following the bureaucracy model of organization design. The second model is behavioral model, and behavioral model is a model of organization design which is consistent with the human relation movement. And what is human relation movement? Human relation movement is the development of psychological aspect, motivational aspect of humans, at incorporation of all these aspects into this management school of thought. And when this movement started, they identified that apart from getting efficiency and effective efficiency, or apart from getting outcomes from the humans, you have to consider that they are humans, they are not machines, just like other resources which you are using in the organization. If these people are highly motivated, if these people are very much loyal to the company, they can give you far better result as compared to getting them those result by monitoring them very strictly, or by giving them rewards, or by giving them you can say punishment if they are not getting things done on time. So this model suggests that you should consider certain motivational factor, environmental, culture, and all those things while you are developing an organization design. And it stress attention to develop work groups and concern about interpersonal process. Then another thing that is suggested in this model is that rather than doing things done differently, or doing things done individually, you should develop teams of the people, which not only increase the coordination among them, but also increase the their you can say cooperation among each other, and it will increase their efficiency by having a relationship with each other, and it will increase the spirit of cooperation between employees, which is very much beneficial for the organization, as you are developing different department within the organization. And if each and every department is working within their own department, and they are not more concerned with other department, so it's not very beneficial for the organization. You have to develop teams of people from different departments, which also increase the coordination between departments and cooperation between the departments. And overall, they should understand that all those people who are working in the organization, they are working for the achievement of the vision of the organization. They are not limited to their departments, but they are actually committed to the organization vision. So the behavioral model is actually a model which the main perspective of it is that you have to ascertain that by incorporating the latest or the new management school of thought, we can develop a better organization design and organization culture. As we are discussing organization design, so when the company or the corporate level managers are determining that what should the organization design, So there are certain factors which determine. In the previous slide we have discussed that there are different type of organization, and there are the design, or you can say the organization structure is actually determined by seeing that what kind of product and services the company is offering and what type of customer they are entertaining. Not only that, there are certain situations which can determine that what should be the best or optimal design of organization, and what type of you can say organizational structure should the company follow, what type of the organization culture they should adopt. So all these things depend upon the four main situational factors, and these four main situational factors are technology, the conversion process of the organization, that how they are converting their inputs to outputs, so what kind of technology they are following, secondly what kind of environment they are facing. As in the third chapter we have discussed different kind of environment, whether it is a task environment, whether it is a journal environment, and whether it is an internal environment. And whatever the environment is, depending upon the nature of environment the company is facing, whether it is external or whether it is internal, they have to ascertain their strengths and weaknesses, and depending upon that they have to develop their organization design. Third thing is their size. Then as when there is organization is into very in its introductory stage or in initial stage, so in that case, in that time their organization size is not very large, but with the passage of time the organization decide to grow. So with the increase in the size of the organization, they have to adopt different kind of organization design as compared to they have started with when they started the business. And the last thing is organization life cycle. Organization life cycle is the actually related to the size of the organization, but it depend upon that what at what stage of the organization is what at what stage of its life, and according to that they'll develop their organization design. So in the next few slides we will discuss these situational factors one by one. The first factor, as we have discussed, that there are certain situation factors which can impact the organization design. The first factor is the core technology or a basic technology. First of all, what is technology? The technology is actually the conversion process in which you are transforming, or organization is transforming in its inputs into outputs, whether it is a service standing company, whether it is a manufacturing concern, or whether it's a merchandise concern. There is always a value chain involved in that. You have certain inbound logistics, certain outbound logistics. You are getting things from your suppliers and converting those products into finished goods, and then deliver it to your customer or sell to your customer. So there is your conversion process, and the technology used in the conversion process is called as your basic technology. Most organizations use different or multiple type of technologies, but an organization most important technology which is more crucial or which is very critical for the organization, or which is the actually the basis of their success, is called as its core technology. So whatever your core technology is, you have to design your organization according to that core technology, that what type of your core technology is, and on that basis you have to develop your organization design. Woodward is a researcher, and he had done various researches, and he has analyzed different factors like financial factors and many other factors, the environment and all those different type of factors. And based upon his understanding, he pinpointed that the technology is very important for determining the organization design, and he developed three basic forms of technology. Number one is unit small batch. This is the technology used by small businesses, or the businesses which are actually producing customized type of goods, like for example tailor, photographer, and printer shop. So they are using a different small batch technologies. Second type of technology is mass large batch technology. This large batch technology is actually technology followed by large companies, for example, like automobiles, in which they have assembly line, and in this assembly line they are producing the parts of a product in different areas, and after that they assemble it and make it a finished good. So this is called as mass large batch technology. Third technology is continuous process. In this, you are converting your raw material into finished goods. Like you have a very raw form, or you can take example of a textile mill, in which you will take cotton and convert it to a finished goods, or a textile mill, or a printed fabric. So, or chemical and oil refineries. So these are the examples of continuous process technologies. So depending upon what is your core technology of your business or your organization, you have to develop your organization design. And the by a small batch technology is the least complex, and continuous process technology is the most complex. When we talk about a core technology, so in core technology, where the organization, the small batch technology is the least complex. There is no such kind of departmentalization or job designing or organization culture. These are a very simplified kind of organization. But when we come up to continuous process technology, it's the most complex one, and you have to develop a very organized and very technical type of organization design. The more complex, the more increased number of management levels. Obviously, when you have more complex technologies, you have different people at different hierarchy. In order to see the work of the people, you have to monitor people, because you have lots of worker working over there. So it's a wider span of executive, span of management is there. First increase, then it decrease. Like for example, when we talk about span of management, so it increases first, then it decreases. Then there are fewer workers with high skill, as most of the work is automated. You are using robots, the companies are using robots and large machineries. So in this case, the organization design is a little complex one. And similarly, robotics and information technology is the kind of organization in which you have a different kind of organization structure, as there were not humans involved. There are more of machines are involved. So you have to develop a different kind of organization design, in which more robots are used, or more information technology is used. The second factor which can affect the organization design is its environment. As we discussed that we have different kinds of environment, whether you are working within your organization, so you have internal environment. But in this case, we are mostly talking about the environment, external environment. And when you have external environment, which include your task environment, and also your general environment, in which you have political and legal structure, the social economic conditions, your technology, the demographics of the area in which you are working. Or in task environment, you have competitor, you have customer taste, you have suppliers, you have regulatory agencies, and all those people, all those specialized agencies which have an impact on the organization. So this is the environment which can impact the organization design very much. This factor was determined by Burns and Starker, and he identified that there are two continuum of this environment. At one end we have a stable environment, and the other end we have a unstable environment. Stable environment is the environment in which the changes are done in a very predictable way, and environment is rather stable. So in this kind of environment, the mechanistic organization design is suitable, because in this kind of organization design, the organization, or the company which is working, it's have very few uncertainties, and they can predict the environment very clearly, and they can forecast the future predictions, future taste and future events, and based upon that they can make planning for the long term future. So their activities are developed in a very structured way, and they have a very well set kind of rules, and the specialized the jobs and centralized authority, because they have to take decision for a very long term period. On the other hand, we have unstable environment, and an unstable environment in which the environment is consistently changing. So in this kind of environment, the mechanistic kind of organization design is not appropriate. In this kind of organization, this kind of environment, you can go for an organic design. Organic design is the design in which all the rules and regulation are very flexible, and the whole organization structure is very flexible and informal, and there is, because there is uncertainty, and there is a high level of flexibility in the organization design. For example, when we talk about Motorola, so Motorola is a technological based company, and as we know that there is very rapid changes in the technological field. So this Motorola company is actually following the organic kind of organization design. And lastly, when we talk about this organic organization design, so in this kind of organization design, we have, or organizations, we have a decentralized, more of a decentralized authority, because at this stage you have to take quick decision, and in order to take quick decision, you cannot go through different hierarchy levels, so you have to take decision on your own. So the people who are working at lower level have more authority as compared to the mechanistic type of organization. So in that kind of organization design, organic kind of organization design, we have more decentralized authority as compared to mechanistic organization design. Another factor which can determine the organization design is the size of organization. As when we talk about size of organization, we are actually talking about the number of full-time employees, or the equivalent kind of full-time employees are working within the organization. So the more the people, the more employees we have, the larger the organization the larger the organization is, and depending upon the larger organization, you have to develop different organization design as compared to when you have fewer employees. As the larger organization have a higher level of job specialization, they have more standardized procedures and SOPs, and there are more rules and regulations, and the greater degree of decentralization, because the organization is very large, and they have to take decisions on their own. The authority and responsibility is more delegated to the lower level employees as compared to the smaller organization, small organization. As the organization grows in size, so their sales also increases, their revenue also increases, their consumer coverage also increases, customer coverage also increases, and so based upon that, they have to develop an appropriate organization design who can handle the technicalities of the larger size. And because you are covering a larger geographical area, so in order to cover that larger geographical area, you have to design a different kind of organization, or a different kind of organization structure. So yeah, this is the potential. Organization size is a very potential factor which can determine the type of organization structure you are going to follow. You are going to follow. Okay, then the last important factor or situational factor which can determine the organization design is the organization or the company's life cycle. As any just a human being go through different stages of life cycle, like birth, adulthood, and the middle life, and maturity, and death. So the same case with the organization, or same case with the product. So the organization or companies or firms grow through different phases of their life, and manager must confront a number of organization design issues as the organization process through these steps, as from birth to youth, or you can say birth to its development in a mature kind of organization. they have to make different changes in their organization structure. So based upon the time period or the stage of life cycle, the organization design should be appropriate with that. In general, as organization passes through one stage to the next, it become bigger. Obviously this factor is also related to the size of organization. So as the organization grows bigger, they have to make appropriate changes into their organization structure. And once they are changing their organization structure, so you have to develop an appropriate culture in order to make it acceptable for the people, or for the size for which they are working. So another important factor which can determine the organization design is its life cycle. So in the stage of life cycle your organization is, you have to see the technicalities of that stage, and based upon that you have to modify the organization design according to that. Apart from situations, the strategy, the level of strategy or strategy you are following can also affect the organization design. As we have a corporate level strategy, we have business level strategy with the basic organization function strategy. So depending upon the nature of strategies you are following, you have to have different kind of organization design. So first of all, what is the corporate level strategy? Corporate level strategy is the strategy which is being developed by at the upper level of organization, you can say organization hierarchy. So these are the strategies which can determine the growth phase, or growth, or retrenchment, or status quo of the direction of the organization, that whether the company wants to grow, or whether a company want to have a merger with any company, or the company want to acquire another company. So these are the actually decisions which are done at a corporate level. Not only that, the company at this level can also decide that what business they should go into, or what the combination of business, or what should be the portfolio of the business the company should follow. Not only that, they can also decide that the overall resources the company has, how can they distribute all these resources into different business units and business product lines, or business or product lines of the organization. On the other hand, when we talk about business level strategy, so it's a middle level strategy in which the business units, or the specific units of the organization, or we can say SBUs, or small businesses, can decide the strategy of their specific business. So what type of the product should they follow, what type of budget they could develop, and they are working for their specific unit for which they are appointed. On the other hand, the basic organization function is the strategies developed by the departments, the different functional departments of the organization. That, for example, if you have a finance department, so you have to develop a strategy for the whole finance department, depending upon that what type of work you have to do. If you are a marketing department, functional department, so in that case you have to develop the strategy of your marketing. You have to develop a business intelligence strategy, comparative intelligence strategy, marketing strategy, and advertising, and campaign, and all those things. So these kind of strategy can also affect the organization design. First of all, we will discuss the corporate level strategy. As we have discussed that this corporate level strategy is being developed by the people or the managers who are working at the upper corporate level of the organization. And organization can adopt a variety of corporate level strategy that will determine the design most effectively, such as single product strategy. And when we talk about a single product strategy, or it relies on functional departmentalization and mechanistic design. And functional departmentalization, for example, you have departmentalization based upon the functional areas. And mechanistic design is the design which is developed in the stable kind of environment, in which you have a specified rules and regulations, you have job specialized structures, and all all those. So another case, when you have a different more than one product, that is called as portfolio strategy or portfolio approach. In this case of organization design, you have a decentralized structure that you have authority and responsibilities are more vested in the lower level of employees as compared to having confined in the upper level, and a wider span of management is preferred. As wider span of management means that you have more subordinate under one manager, because you are going for different products and you are developing different products. So that means that the organization is quite large one, and you have to make quick decision regarding different things, different areas. So in that case, this kind of organization structure is more appropriate as compared to having a mechanistic design organization structure. Other strategy which is being called as a business level strategy. As business level strategy, this as compared to corporate level strategy is quite a little different, because these are strategies followed by different business units or business SBUs, or you can say strategic business unit, and they can affect the organization design as individual business within the organization, as well as the overall organization. When we talk about different type of strategies followed by these businesses, first of all, a defender kind of strategy followed by the businesses. This kind of structure is like, this is a taller structure, that means that there are many hierarchy levels over here, and the organization is very centralized, and the management span is very narrow, and because you have different levels of authority over here. So this is very decentralized. That's why you have a narrow span, and there is functional departmentalization followed in this kind of when you are following this kind of strategy. Then prospecting are actually those kind of organization which are very much working for the. So in this prospecting kind of, when the business is following prospecting strategy, so they are finding customer, they are more searching for customer and more searching for the profits. So this kind of organization's structure is rather a flatter one, in which we have fewer layers of hierarchy, and the authority is decentralized, and there is more authority and responsibility vested in the lower level employees, and the span of management is very wider, and also the design is very flexible, because they are prospecting. An analyzer, which is between the prospector and the defender, so they can switch between different kinds of organization design, that what kind of analyzer is certain time following the defender strategy and certain time following the prospecting strategy. So whatever kind of strategy they are following, so depending upon, so they will make mix of kind of organization design by seeing that what kind of organization structure they should follow. Now, another things or other strategies which can affect the organization design is organizational function areas. As when we see an organization, it has certain specialized functional areas, and you need collaboration in all these functional areas, and individually these function areas have to pursue different kind of strategies. Now, if we talk about marketing, so if the company is following a very aggressive marketing strategy, and marketing in itself has a very different dimensions. So, for example, if you are following a very aggressive marketing strategy, so you need a very well identified intelligence system, marketing intelligence system, and marketing system, or for example, you should go for a very aggressive campaign for advertising, for direct sales, or for sales promotion promotion, or even you can go for personal selling as well, or you can get responsive or feedback from your customer because you are consistently improving the quality of a product you are making. As in this case, when you are following this kind of strategy, so you have a very well designed separate departments for each kind of marketing activities. So based upon that, you have to design your organization structure. Secondly, the debt requirements or the debt structure or the debt dealing of the organization can have a very significant impact on the strategy you are developing. For example, if you are following a very low debt requirement, or you are not taking more debt from the market or from any financial institutions, or you are not going for for credit sales, or you are not going for credit purchases. So in this case, you don't need a very large finance department. You should have a very small department because you are doing cash to cash on basis activities. But otherwise, if you are going for a debt based functions in your organization, you are extending credit on credit sales, and you are getting purchases on credit from your suppliers. In this case, you need people for recording the different debt activities of the company, and customers and debt customers, and the payment to the different debt holders and all those things. So you have to have a step department or the design structure in such a way that can facilitate this kind of functions of finance department. Thirdly, if you are a manufacturing concern and you are following a pursuing a strategy of a production, so the location of your company, the availability of raw material, availability of your basic supplies and basic energies, and so all these are very important. So it will drastically I can say it will definitely have an impact on the location you are selecting for your organization. And not only that, you have to develop a very identified kind of environment in which you can facilitate your production. Then in case of a human resources strategy, if in the previous slides, if you have seen that the company have to follow different kind of authoritative backgrounds for different kind of people. So in some cases you go for decentralizations, in some cases you can go for centralization. This is actually based upon the human resource strategy following by the company. In many cases, you need a very updated training facilities for your employees. You need to train people, and you have to consistently make development and work on the development of your employees. So based upon that, you can develop your structure that can facilitate these functions of your human resource. Then the requirement for R&D, it also depend on the technology, or you can say it also depend upon the changes in the technology and the kind of product you are making. That if you are in a software or in a technical kind of products, so in this case you need very heavy commitment in R&D. And R&D if is not alone, you need finances for R&D, you need people or your engineers and the people who can design the product for new product for the new customers or for new market. So you have to have department, you have to have coordination between all these things, and you can develop the your organization design in order to facilitate these kind of functions. Apart from that, the company can follow a very the company should have different kinds of organization design. There are different forms of organization design. Firstly, we will discuss U form or functional design. And what is U form or functional design? Design is that when company is following functional approach to departmentalization. And functional approach to departmentalization is that when you divide your organization into different departments based upon their functional areas. Like you can say that you should have a separate department for finance, you should have a separate department for marketing, for HR, for accounting, for finance, for any other, or R&D. So this kind of organization is pursuing U form or functional design. And most majority of cases, you saw a small kind of companies can follow these functional design, or the companies who are in the early stage or the birth stage of their organization life cycle. Secondly, the other form of an organization design is conglomerate design. A conglomerate is a concept which suggests that the company is indulged in different unrelated kind of businesses. For example, if at one end they are indulged in education industry, on the other hand they are indulged in health sector, another end they are actually producing certain tires and all, or in oil production or oil refineries. So these are different unrelated businesses. So this kind of organization can follow an H form or conglomerate design. So it is an arrangement used by an organization made up or set of unrelated businesses. This is the example of functional or U-form design for a small manufacturing company. Again, if you can see that there is a CEO who is the head of the organization, under which we have vice president operations, and under which we have plant managers, you have shift supervisors, because this is the operations department. So you have plant managers and shift supervisor who are actually monitoring different shifts and human resource and operational employees. Secondly, we have vice president marketing, and under vice president marketing we have a regional sales manager who have different regional managers who are working in different regions, and after that we have a sales manager at district levels. Then third functional department is your finance department, in which we have controller, and after that we have accounting supervisor who are mostly indulge in recording different transaction, different activities of the business. Then we have a vice president human resource, under which we have a department of labor relations and plant human resource manager. The last or the functional area is vice president R&D or research and development. We have a scientific director and lab and manager under this functional area. So this small manufacturing companies is divided into 5 different functional areas, and under these functional areas they have different managers and supervisors and different people who are working under them. Another form of organization design is your M form or divisional design. As the name suggests that this kind of organization has different divisions, and when we talk about different divisions, mostly we are talking about different kind of businesses the firm is indulging. And this kind of organization structure is that the company is indulged in different businesses, and these businesses are divided into different business units. And the last form of organization design is your matrix design. This kind of organization design is based on 2 overlapping bases of department. Like at one level they have divided their organization based upon different functional areas, and the other end they are making departments or divided their organization into different projects. So we can see with the help of a diagram and a matrix and the M form of divisional design. So moving on to the next slide, we can see that first of all we can see the M form of organization design. So this is the example of M form of organization design, in which we can see that there is a CEO, under which there is a business called as the limited, then Express, then Intimate Band, then Learner, New York, and Henry Bandel. And under Intimate Band, we have Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works, White Band, Candles. So this business is actually indulged in different kind of clothing businesses and apparel for women and for male. So this is a form of organization design, in which the company is indulged or company is doing different businesses which are related to each other. The next organization design is your matrix structure. Metric organization is a type of organization design in which we have different functional departments, and we have different project as well, or different business unit as well. So over here we can see that This company is divided into four main functional areas, which are Vice President Engineering, Vice President Production, Vice President Finance, and Vice President Marketing. On the basis of projects, they have divided their projects into project manager 1A, project manager B, and project manager C. So this company is handling three different projects, and under three different projects they have indulged employees from different departments. So that is, you can say that there is overlapping between different departments and different projects, as the project A is using employees from the engineering department, employees from production department, and finance department, and marketing department. The main problem under this kind of structure is that the employees have dual bosses. As for example, an engineer in the engineering department has to work with project manager A, and also work with the vice president or the executive of the engineering department, and they are answerable to those both of these bosses. So they are very much confused to follow the direction of which boss. But this organization structure is very beneficial for the organization, because they can maximally utilize their employees who are working in their organization, and they can use more efficiency, and they can use the different resources of your organization in a better way when they are following this matrix kind of organization structure.